Over 1 billion rand spent on food and accommodation in just 1 year. And if that wasn't enough, we're looking at a staggering 600 million rand for airtime, data, and gadgets for public servants. Yes, you heard that right, 600 million rand. This is how government funds are being spent, or should I say splurged. This is happening while ordinary South Africans are struggling to make ends meet. Rising petrol prices, stagnant salaries, and an economy that feels like it's been in reverse gear for years. How are taxpayers expected to tighten their belts when the very people managing our budgets are out there spending like there's no tomorrow? So today, we'll deep dive into those shocking figures, question the logic behind these expenses, and of course have a bit of fun while we're at it. Because, let's be honest, South Africans always find a way to laugh through the madness. Welcome to the Riaan Show, where I look into those stories that affect every South African in some or other way. Alright, let's break this down. 1 billion rand spent on food and accommodation. That's 83 million rand a month, or 2.7 million rand a day. I'm just trying to imagine, were these officials dining on caviar with golden spoons in 6-star hotels? What exactly were they eating? And where were they staying? Finance MEC Francois Rogers is asking the same questions. He's as puzzled as the rest of us. And let's not forget the 600 million rand on airtime and data. Are government officials binge-watching series on taxpayer money using mobile data on their cell phones and tablets? Or maybe they were hosting virtual brides with all that data. Some of the articles I read even suggest that these figures may be inflated and could be masking kickbacks or other corrupt practices. Would it surprise you if there is corruption involved? This massive amount was spent in the 2023-2024 financial year. And this spending didn't occur in a vacuum. It happened while the average South African is struggling to keep up with the rising costs and a stagnant economy. And here's the kicker. Some of these expenses are linked to accounts of former and even deceased employees. Yes, we're paying for ghosts to stay connected. Whistleblowers have even alleged that some of the senior officials are selling airtime and data paid for by the state. Is this a government or a black market? And allow me to shock you a little. This 1.6 billion rand expenditure for food, accommodation, mobile data and gadgets was not the total for the entire country. This was the amount spent by a single province. This was the amount spent by the KwaZulu-Natal provincial government for the 2023-24 financial year. Let's zoom out a little bit. This isn't just about a single province. If this kind of spending is happening in KZN, can you imagine what's happening across the rest of the country? These revelations are like a punch in the gut, especially when you consider that South Africans are battling with high petrol prices and stagnant salaries, and a growing unemployment crisis. It seems that while many are having to make sacrifices, KZN public servants are living the high life on taxpayers' dime. And yet, 1.6 billion is spent on luxuries for officials. How is that okay? Rogers has promised a probe, but here is the real question. Will anyone be held accountable? Or is this just another investigation that goes nowhere? And let's not forget the political angle. Rogers is part of the Government of National Unity, which includes the ANC, RFP, DA and others. With his hardline approach, he's likely stepping on a lot of toes. Could this cause rifts in the coalition? And if so, who benefits from that? Rogers also seems to have inherited multiple SIM cards and devices that he was not even aware of, further highlighting potential abuse. He is going back as far as 2021 to investigate this. This all came to light after Rogers took over from the ANC's Peggy Mkhonyeni after the May elections. KZN's government has had its budget slashed by about 70 billion rand over the last 4 years due to the country's strained economic environment. The province has the highest percentage of people living below the poverty line in the country. 79% of the provincial budget is allocated to social services. The province has also struggled to fund a 7.5% public servant salary increase last year. This all just adds salt to the wound, making the extravagant spending on luxuries all the more infuriating. Rogers is trying to cut down on all unnecessary spending. He has already closed the Treasury office in Durban, which saves about 1 million rand annually. He's also looking at cutting the travel and subsistence budget by 25%, which would save 250 million rand annually. He's taking a hard line, but he is under pressure as some government members are reportedly not happy with his austerity measures. So what now? Well, it's clear that MEC Rogers has his work cut out for him. He's taking on a big task, investigating these wasteful spending habits, potentially making him very unpopular. He says he doesn't care if he's popular or not. He has said, "I did not take this job in order to be popular." He's not wrong in saying there's nothing like a popular finance minister. Rogers says that the priority is to move money from nice-to-haves to essential programs. He is also being called a finance cop. The DA has made it clear that they have some key priorities for the province, including economic growth, job creation, a provincial police service, and an independent corruption unit. Rogers' budget is a litmus test of his and the GNU's priorities. These priorities will require funding. So it's crucial that the provincial government tightens its belt and stops wasting money on unnecessary items. It seems that Rogers is on a mission to slam the brakes on spending. He has warned officials who have been milking the system for years that they will face dire consequences. However, he also said that officials who are non-compliant due to a lack of training will be supported. This is all a big mess. The spending is out of control, and the financial situation in the province seems dire. The questions remain: who is benefiting from all this? And what is the government going to do to address the wasteful spending? This whole situation highlights the need for transparency, accountability, and responsible financial management at all levels of government. Rogers has promised to share his findings of the investigation once completed. We need to keep a close eye on this to see if this government is truly committed to fiscal responsibility. This isn't just about KZN. This is about South Africa and the way our money is being used. It's about whether we, the citizens, are going to continue to bear the burden of inflated government spending. We deserve answers. We demand transparency. And we expect our public servants to serve us, not themselves. Here are a few questions I have. What exactly were these funds spent on? Can we get a detailed breakdown, receipts, invoices, and the works? Why hasn't anyone noticed or acted on this before? Were there no checks and balances in place? If KZN is spending this much, what about the other provinces? And most importantly, what's the plan to stop this from happening again? As taxpayers, we need to start asking the hard questions, because at the end of the day, this is our money, your money, my money, and it's time we demand better. But let's be real. If you suddenly got 1.6 billion rand, what would you spend it on? Personally, I'd start fixing potholes or maybe launch a national campaign to teach government officials how to budget. These are serious issues, but we can't let them keep us down. Stay informed, stay vocal, and keep holding those in power accountable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and how would you fix the government spending problem? If you found any value in this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.